What's going on, guys? Dr. Andrew Fix coming back on the code with another short and sweet episode for you guys today. I'm recording this in the morning. I don't know what time you're listening, but whatever time it is, really appreciate you tuning in to listen to this episode of The Code. And whether you've been here for other ones or this is your first time, thank you for joining. Hopefully you find some value in this episode and all the other episodes on this show, but really appreciate your time. So let's just dive right into it. What we're going to talk about today is saying yes to things versus saying no to things. And I think anytime you have somebody, you're probably listening to this conversation, I'm definitely this way, is I have the tendency to be a very busy individual. I have the tendency to take on a lot of things, take on a lot of responsibilities, try to do a lot of things in a small period of time. I've definitely been guilty of trying to multitask and do a lot of things at once and trying to juggle a lot of balls, so to speak. And say yes to a lot of things, right? Just like that busy bee, they're going to take on a lot of things and try to get them all done. Unfortunately, what can come along with that, and what does come along with that, is you get overwhelmed. You have too many things to do. Your plate is too full. And if you know that feeling all too well, and this is starting to sound familiar, maybe this conversation would be good one for you. And what I want to remind myself and remind all of you that are listening is when we say yes to something, no matter what it is, we are saying no to something else. We may not be intentionally saying no to something else, but subconsciously or unconsciously, we are still saying no to other things when we say yes to something, right? So you might say yes to taking on one more project at work. You might say yes to that business networking meeting, and those things might be very, very important. But when you say yes to that, what are you saying no to? What are you taking your time away from being able to do because you're spending your time doing that thing? Are you taking it away from spending time with your kids? Are you taking it away from spending time on your health, right? Are you taking a meeting to try and advance something forward in the work bucket of your life, the business bucket of your life, and now you're saying no to the fitness, the health, the exercise bucket of your day or of your week? And, there's going to be times and places in your schedule where those things might be important or they might be necessary to do. Where we can get ourselves into trouble is if we make this a habit and we make this a recurring thing and we are always saying yes to the thing that helps us more in work and always putting the exercise, the health, the family, the spiritual life, the personal life, the whatever, those other categories, if those are always going to the back burner, what's going to start to happen is we're going to be completely out of balance in our life. And what we all really want is we all really want to feel well-rounded in these different buckets, whether it's whether it's your fitness and your health, it's your career success, it's your personal life and your relationships with your friends, your family, it's your spiritual life or your religious beliefs or whatever that is. What am I forgetting? Your finances, right? It's all these different categories of life that we all want to feel somewhat balanced in. There's going to be seasons where we do have to lean a little heavier into one than the other. But what that can't turn into is all the time we have our foot down on the accelerator in some categories, but we're constantly riding the brake in the other ones. Because what's going to happen is that's going to burn bridges. It's going to be really hard to make up the ground that we've lost in those other categories. So when an opportunity comes up for you to say yes to something here later today or tomorrow or next week, I encourage you to just pause for a second before you respond to that email, before you say yes without really thinking about the down the road ramifications of that, and run that decision through a litmus test of, okay, here's this opportunity that I have. Is this necessary? Is this beneficial? If I'm saying yes to this, what am I saying no to? And am I okay with that? Is that okay this time? Or is it better for me to either postpone this to a potential later date or skip this altogether? Because maybe it's something that's just going to take up your time, but maybe it's not actually that useful or actually that valuable for you. And then we can run pretty much every decision through that litmus test. Like, Is this going to improve my life, improve the life of those around me, like my family or whoever you find dear? Is this beneficial from like a work standpoint? Is this going to help generate income that I can use to spend more time with those I love? And like make these decisions just a little bit more slowly. Take your foot off the gas, think before you respond, and decide what should you be saying yes to and what should you be saying no to, or just politely declining, right? You don't necessarily even have to say no. You can just thank the person for presenting you with the opportunity. I'm going to pass at this time. Please feel free to follow up with me later if you want to, or just let them know, I don't believe this is the right opportunity for me. And you can decline without actually saying the word no if that is really hard for you. So think about those decisions before you make them. Think about what you're saying no to when you say yes to something else. And probably, if you're like me, find a way to say no to more things so that you can say yes to the other things that are more important. Thank you guys again for tuning in to this episode of The Code. Appreciate you being here. And if you've not done so already, you made it to the end of this episode, reviews go a really long way on this podcast. So if you've never left a review, whether it's Apple, it's Spotify, it's whatever, comments on YouTube, please go do that and help get this show in front of the eyes and ears of more and more people. And we look forward to catching you on another episode of The Code. Talk to you later.